Namaskar, sir. And so nice to finally see you in person. We have been chasing you for the past 1 year or so, since Kashmir file. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So let's jump right into it, sir, with your permission. So, Vivek, sir, one question I always wanted to ask you. From a probable urban Naxal who could have had a very luxurious life, sipping silver tip imperial tea and sitting in the luxurious penthouse and advising us peasants about how to live our life, to Buddha. How did that happen in your life?
You know, see, being an urban Naxal, I realized one thing, that it is very important that, see, some people are always talking about negativity. They are always showing you what is wrong with you. There is nothing in this world which is perfect. But I think we become better when we focus on the positive side. And I realized that Bharat has so many greatnesses, so much of positive side to it. Our people are so nice. Our family structure is so nice. Our inclusivity, our diversity, our acceptance, our tolerance, our philosophy, our science. There are so many things which are so great about this country. Why not focus on that? Also, our history was very, very distorted. So I thought, through my storytelling, through my movies, what if I also present correct history to people and also celebrate the greatness of Bharat? And that's why I made it the purpose of my life. This is now my dharma.
Right. And I have always felt that you're a great storyteller. But one thing that has attracted me in your storytelling, particularly in the films and in the books also, particularly in the films, is your naming of your characters. That is Professor Ranjan Bhatki, Shidal Bhatki. That Bhatki, of course, it has its own importance in India, but that Bhatki, Bhatka Hua, from that Shidal Bhatki, partially she is innocent. And Radhika, of course, Rohini Singh Dhulia in the new vaccine board. How do you come up with this? Is it intentional or organic?
It is organic. I think every sound has a meaning. You know how name sounds has a meaning. Ram has a different meaning. Ravan has a different meaning. Imagine in Sholay if Gabbar Singh was called Ram Prasad. You know, so there is, we don't realize, but subconsciously sound has a meaning. And I like to keep the names as close possible as to the characters. Okay, so therefore, and this Rohini Singh Dhulia just came, I don't know from where it came, but there were few journalists who definitely were harming the interest of the country. That's why Dhulia came, because Dhul is mitti, and ultimately I thought that it is they come from Dhul and they mean nothing. But when the Dhul means the mud, but when it flies, it hurts your eyes, it goes in your nose. They irritate you. They don't kill you, but they irritate you all the times. So that's how the name came.
Yeah. One more question before we go into the details of vaccine war, because this covers a broad perspective, I believe. The likes of Professor Ranjan Bhatki and Rohini Singh Dhulia in real life, do you think that they have real convictions for their cause? Because the reason why I'm asking you is because of that fantastic monologue from Mr. Anupam Kher at the end of Buddha in a traffic jam. Because he's so thrilled and he believes in it, that Golion ki barsat hogi, Red Army will be marching. I am paraphrasing it. And Rohini Singh Dhulia also, Raja ke Jan Tote ke gale mein atka hua hai. She has that conviction. Do they believe in their cause really, or are they just puppets? What do you think about it?
No, I think I work in a system where I only take those actors who believe in it. Like when I went to meet Nana Patekar for a role. Okay, he said, why do you want me to do this? I said, because there is one line in the film which only you can speak the best, which is India can do it. He said, this is my philosophy also. India can do it. Why everybody is focusing on that India can't do it? He said, only because of this, I'll do this film. And so every actor has to believe in it. And I got Raima Sen because she's not from the ideology I believe in. But
Mhm.
then I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to explore her talent, and that's how she came in. And
Mhm.
she did her job very well. And
Yeah, fantastic.
yeah,
And the question was actually that is one part of my question. The second part is the real about the real life characters, not Mrs. Raima or
fictional.
Sri Nana Patekar. The real life characters that represent Ranjan Bhatki might be a combination of many real life characters that you have come across in your life. You might have come across in your life. So, do they believe in these real life characters? Do they believe in the cause of Naxalism or bringing down the nationalistic government? Do they believe in their cause? What do you think about it? Are they, or are they just puppets?
No, no. In my film, nobody's a puppet. So
No,
when
no.
I show this,
This is about the characters, not
ah,
Nana Patekar,
okay.
the real life characters, the Rohini Singh Dhulia, the real life Rohini Singh Dhulia, not Raima.
Okay, Ranjan Bhatki
Yeah,
and
Rohini Singh Dhulia.
Rohini Singh Dhulia,
Yeah,
or Radhika Menon from the Kashmir Files,
Radhika Menon,
or
even
Aisha,
Kunal
or
Bhatki.
even or even Aisha Ali from the Tashkent Files.
Yeah,
These are see, what happens is you slowly start believing in the ideology from where your money is coming from.
yeah,
Everything is related to money. Okay,
yeah.
or a great cultural belief. So
Mhm.
culturally they believe in Marxism loosely. Okay,
Right.
their loyalty is not with the nation, not with the country, not with the society. Their loyalty is to themselves.
Yeah,
Wherever they benefit from, they join that.
yeah,
So they join enemies of India for money, and then they start working for the anti-national forces.
yeah.
Okay, so, and what I do is I pick up 2, 3 major real life persons, and then I
Mm,
make one character out of them. So they
yeah,
are a combination of 2, 3 different characters, but those 2, 3 characters are the pillars of that entire anti-national ideology, the
right.
urban nexus ideology. The
Mhm.
professor which you saw was a combination of a professor and a lawyer and an IS officer, all three combined. But I put him as a professor because
Right.
at that time Sai Baba was, arrested. That's why
Mhm.
it was more in public consciousness. In the Tashkent Files, what the role Pallavi played and got national award for. That
Yeah,
was loosely based on one major woman historian who has distorted entire Indian history. She was representing her.
exactly.
She was representing a gentleman who has written on Gandhi and Nehru family a lot. He's from Bangalore,
Mhm.
and so it was a combination of 2, 3 historians. Radhika
Mhm.
Menon was a combination of, one of the greatest Marxist woman leader who's always
Exactly.
abusing the country, and 2, 3 other professors, and all that people who go to Shaheen Bagh and run campaigns against India.
Yeah.
That kind of ideology, I think, is became similarly. Similarly, in this film also, if you see, uh, the Rohini Singh Dhulia is a combination of whole lot of people. She's also a combination of a journalist come fact checkers.
Uh-huh.
Fact checkers are also hurting this country a lot. So
Yeah.
that's how Rohini Singh Dhulia came.
Right. Now, coming to vaccine war, let's talk about the business aspect of it first. Particularly, I'm interested to know about South India because I'm from Kerala, as you know, and particularly from the capital of Kerala, Trivandrum. There are hardly 6 shows here in 3 theaters. How does this business work? And the embargo that has been we have been talking about for the past couple of weeks that has been set on this film. Is it in effect in
Okay.
South also?
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The entire Bollywood film structure is made in such a way that it caters only to the star,
Yes.
nobody else. So
Mhm.
anybody who challenges the position of a star, that person is discriminated upon and is oppressed and is not given any chance. I am fighting that system. Okay, it requires, why should I do that? Tell me something. It was very easy. I would have kept a show for all the film stars and Bollywood people. They would have gone out, praised my film. If I had paid money to all the Bollywood media, then they would have written great things about me. If I paid money to the exhibitors and all, then they would also put up posters right in front. So, but the problem is, I am fighting this corrupt system. I refuse to do that. That's why I have to go through this discrimination.
Right.
And these people have run, if you go to social media, they are running, Congress is running a campaign, all these leftists and urban nationals are running a campaign against the film. They don't want people to see this film. I am saying, okay, if it is not a, why are you bothered about the film? Which means there is something they are scared of. The film is challenging them. That's why Congress is doing all this. Okay, that's fine. But as far as exhibition and shows are concerned, see, there is a discrimination and shows are less. But if people go and see it, and people also make it a mission like me, go and see the film about this great Indian achievement and show it to their children, to their maid servants especially, because she's also a woman, show it to her. And if the students do block booking from schools and colleges, I have a feeling that this is how we can fight the enemy and we can create our own brand of cinema.
Right. And talking about maidservant, the maidservant of Rohini Singh Dhulia is perhaps one of the most powerful character in your film.
Yeah, true. I'm
Right.
happy you noticed it. It was very important.
Yeah. And now getting into the film. So I know what the film is about. You know what the film is about. But for our audience in Kerala, particularly for our audience in Kerala, what is Vaccine War about? Is it a political film? Is it a propaganda film? Or is it about a war that we fought that we didn't know and won?
Okay. I would say it is your film. Now you decide you are a political person or a propaganda filmer or a nationalist or an honest, genuine human being. You have to decide that because you have consumed the vaccine. Then the vaccine is 3 doses of vaccine are inside you. Today you are walking and meeting and without mask is because of the vaccine. You can't deny that. However much you can criticize the vaccine, but you can't deny it.
Yeah.
Okay. Something which saved your life, your parents' life, your children's life. Don't you want to know how it was made? Who made it? And who were the enemies who wanted you to die? People who didn't want the vaccine in India to be made so that you die. Who were those people? Now, this sounds very scary, but this is the truth. That is the reason why you should see the vaccine. Second, your children. When was the last time you saw a film together with your family where your children came back inspired? And what other than this, your duty can be as a parent to inspire your child? When was the last time you saw a film where you came back learning so much? Where you learned, oh, there is a field like bioscience. Oh, there is something called virology. Oh, India also have one of the greatest NIV labs. Oh, we also have BSL-4 lab. All these things nobody knows. You will learn about that.
And 75% of the team was women. That was something new for me. I was shell-shocked, for real.
And last but not the least, see it, because you will realize, not through the characters, but in your heart, you will realize how much sacrifice your mother has made for you. How much sacrifice Indian mothers make to create a good son or a daughter. And today, if you are successful, it's because of the sacrifice of your mother. Similarly, sacrifice of your scientists. See that film as a tribute to your mother. After seeing the film, go hug your mother and say, Mother, whatever I am because of your sacrifices. That is Indian spirit. That is Indian mother. Only Indian mother sacrifices so much. Nobody else does. That's why you should.
Absolutely. 100% agree with you, sir. And regarding the vaccine war, I'm a bit political, as you said. So I'm getting a little bit political. There is a short mention about the political leadership, the strength that the political leadership showed, and the way they stood behind the scientist. So was that taken from the real life incident, the comment that the PM has made in the conference that whatever will be done, it will be done through science and according to science? I'm paraphrasing it.
It is absolutely true. It's 100% true. The only thing in the film, I didn't want to bring in the Prime Minister and all, because then film would have gone in another direction. Okay, you know that. But I made it very clear that government and country are two different things. So you can be critical of the government, but not of your country. And so that's why I've shown this film. It is true that the Prime Minister said that only science should prevail, nothing else. Only science-based decisions should be taken. And that's what gave a lot of power and empowerment to the scientists. And that's why they went ahead and did it with full force.
Right. Right. And regarding the vaccine hesitancy that was what they tried to create, the hesitancy regarding taking the booster shots that they tried to create, the other side, the enemies of Bharat. Uh, the question that I wanted to ask you was, it has trickled down to your film also, that the hatred or the opposition that they have shown to the vaccine. Why is it that? I can understand the other side opposing your Tashkent files because it is trying to shed light into a long lost secret that is very relevant to our country. Kashmir files I can understand because that tries to tell the story, another side of the story, that they were trying to go against their propaganda. But vaccine war, through and through, it's a very positive film. It has got a positive vibe all along. Why the opposition? Why the embargo? Where do you think it is?
See, the problem is there are some people who think if India is praised, if Indians start praising India, then it shows their failure. Because they failed in 70 years. Okay, in 70 years, they couldn't do anything. They failed. They were the most corrupt party of the world. So now what they are trying to do is that whenever there is some greatness about India, they try to cover up and spread propaganda. With this film, they think, what if people start believing that this government was behind the success of vaccine? The government will get good points, credit points, and we will lose. That is their mental imbalance. You know, that's their problem. So that's why they are going after this film, so that nobody should know about the achievement of India. Why will anybody go against the scientific achievement of India? Because they don't want people to see this. So therefore, Congress has employed this entire troll army against the film. They are trying their best, but I am also not a loser. I am also a fighter. I am also fighting. You can see on social media, every single day I am fighting. Every hour I am non-stop trying to promote the film. Okay, I'm promoting a good film. I'm not promoting something which spreads violence. I'm spreading something which inspires your child to become a scientist. Why Congress is against children getting inspired to see a science
film? Yeah. And again, coming back to the business of the film, after the grand success of Kashmir File, you would have easily made Kashmir Files Part 2 or the files continued with the file series. And this is my guess. I'm taking a guess out here that you would have been financed so well for those continuation of Kashmir File Part 2 or Delhi Files. Then why did you come to this conclusion that no, I'm going to make this vaccine war? I know the answers because I've seen so many of your interviews in the past few days, but this is for the benefit of our audience.
Okay, as far as business is concerned, if we had to make it for the box office, we would have, you are right, Kashmir Files Part 2, or we would have Delhi Files, we would have released it. Anyway, we are working and shooting now. So, but the reason was that this was a very, very important story. Okay, 50 years later, how will people know what India did? What's the greatness of India? This film will tell them. It is very important for the world to know that India is a great vaccine superpower. India's scientists are very good. I wanted to tell this story. That's why whatever money we earned, we took this risk and we put it on. Now, as far you can see, the box office is slow because it is not vaccine war. It's a COVID. It reminds you people of COVID. It's no star value, no song, nothing there in that film, except for one great emotion about the inspiration and feeling great about your country. So we made this film. Every corporate company has 10-15% CSR, corporate social responsibility budget. We thought whatever God has given us by the grace of God, whatever we earned making this film in Kashmir Files, we should put it as our service to the nation. And we have put this money. Even if we lose money, we have no regret because we made it out of very pure, honest feelings. But the good news is that the initially film did not pick up very well because maybe the awareness wasn't much. So Congress and all this Bollywood army started trolling and they said flop, 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 flop. Now the good news is, Bhai Saab, that yesterday the business was 100% more than the last day. In US and UK and Canada, in New Zealand, in Australia, and everywhere it has grown 150% in last one day. And today is better than yesterday. Today will be 200% growth over Friday. So which means Slowly and steadily, people are coming and seeing. All I want to request through your medium, through your channel is, please take your families. Don't go alone. Take families, buy tickets for women, especially your maid servant. Show it to as many children as possible. This will be the work of dharma, of punya. You'll get punya when you show it to children. Imagine if you show it to 10 children. If one child decides to become a scientist, what can be a better dharma than this?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely agree with you, sir. And regarding that, I was talking about the business in South India. What is the difference? Have you felt any difference in this embargo politics and things in North and South? I know we don't differentiate between North and South. Is there any difference? That is,
there was no embargo. I don't think there was any embargo on South, because South people have been writing about. Only in the Bollywood media, which is controlled by the stars and superstars, okay, they have created an embargo and they are trying to destroy the film. I have no shame, no doubts in my mind to say this. If that is not the case, then ours is also such an important film. Why aren't they writing about it? They aren't writing about it. Is a reason. Either they need to be paid, which means they are corrupt, okay, or they are told not to write about it. Who will tell them? Government is not going to tell them. Media association is not telling them. Who's telling them? If you want to know who tells them, you have to see who are they writing about day and night. So the person they are writing about day and night must be the person who doesn't want them to write about our film.
Right. So in the near future or in any future, can we expect a Bollywood Files from you?
We'll see. Right now I'm busy with the Delhi Files. We'll see. We'll figure it out.
Okay. And coming to before going into the concluding part, I know you are very busy. But about can you talk a little bit about Delhi Files, and not the story or anything?
Okay. So Delhi Files. See, I'll tell you what about partition. We don't know the truth of nobody. General public doesn't know the truth of partition. The kind of story we are told about the partition is very different from why partition took place. Right. So I thought it's important. So I started studying and I said, what is that ideology or mindset which has kept India in constant communal conflict even after the partition? Partition happened because of communal conflict. Right. Why is it continuing even today? What are the secrets behind that? What is the truth behind that? This film presents that in front.
All right. And coming back to vaccine war, in the beginning you were talking about Nana Patekar and how he came into the role because of the India can do it ideology. Tell us a little bit more about Nana Patekar, because I'm a great fan, and Pallavi Joshi ji too. We'll come to Pallavi Joshi ji next.
Both of them are fantastic actors, but Pallavi it's not difficult to work with or difficult to sign her. Yeah. But it's very difficult to sign Nana Patekar. Very difficult to work with him because he's a perfectionist and he's a militant perfectionist, I call him. Okay, he not only focuses on his good acting, he focuses on other people's acting also, and he makes sure that everybody acts very well. He wants the film to be a great film. So when you have such passionate people, it becomes a bit difficult to work with them because they don't compromise. And I had also heard that he's a pagal guy, he's a crazy man. Yeah. But after working with him, I'm telling you, we need more crazy actors like him. The problem with our industry is we don't have crazy actors. Yeah. We need actors who are such perfectionist actors. He told me when I went to sign him, he said, only for one line I'm going to do this film, India can do it. And after that, he told me, I don't know about science, but since you have researched so well that I have no doubt in my mind, whatever you tell me, I'll do it. And he surrendered himself like a child. He worked with me, totally surrendered. And that's the great quality of a great artist. Yeah. And regarding Nanaji's casting, how did you come to that conclusion? Because when you think about Nana Patekar, the image that comes to your mind as an audience, I'm talking about from the audience perspective, that is an angry monologue, the passionate Nana, the angry man, the angry common man. But Dr. Balram Bhargav on the other end, of course, Nana Patekar shines through, but is very subtle, he holds himself back.
but he's a man with conviction and man of great character too. How do you came to the conclusion that okay, only Nana can do this? And after watching the movie, only Nana can do it. I do agree with you.
Okay, so the thing is, we were very sure that the person who says India can do it
Mhm.
should have the power to say that the entire India believes in it.
Mhm.
That was the only criteria.
Mhm.
I could have gone to Mr. Amitabh Bachchan also, but the problem is that Mr. Bachchan is Mr. Bachchan, and I wanted somebody who can become the character, who can surrender himself to the character. Okay, and
Right.
great actor Mr. Bachchan is, but Mr. Bachchan's stardom is very big, you know. So people will see Amitabh Bachchan, people would say Amitabh Bachchan is saying this line. I wanted Balram Bhargava to say this line, and Nana surrendered to the character. And I don't think I had anybody else's name in my mind except for Nana Patekar. We were very clear about it. That's why I drove down 5-6 hours, went to his village. He lives in a village somewhere outside of Pune. So I went to his village. He cooked food for me. And then he served me the food. After I finished, then we narrated the story to him. And I'm happy that he agreed to do it.
Fantastic. And the vaccine war story, but the basic adaptation came from the book written by Professor Dr. Balram Bhargava. But the research that you have put into it seems very extensive. What is your research process or your company's research process? Can you give a basic idea?
Yeah, see, there are three kinds of researches. One is primary, secondary, and tertiary. So secondary is all the material, books, everything you get. So what we do is first we work with the secondary. We pick up the books, literature, news, everything. We pick everything without even arriving at any conclusion. Then we go do the primary research where we meet the real people, real places, real behavior. We live with them. We try to understand them, their families, their emotions, everything. So we actually, most of my research team has become half scientists because they spend time in labs with the scientists, wore the same PPE kits. I was also myself inside BSL-4 lab. Therefore, you find we created everything as authentic as possible. Also, we got the real scientists to supervise some of the shootings where animals were involved.
Right. And from vaccine war, let's talk about Vivek Agnihotri for a bit. And if I'm not mistaken, you were born in Gwalior, Madhya Pradesh, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And were you always a storyteller, or your past, your childhood was something different?
I don't know. Yeah, I used to imagine a lot as a child. But I think I started doing debates and speaking competitions after I was in college, you know, from the first year. And so in that way, you can say, because the person who's speaking on the stage has to take a bigger theme and concise it and say it in 10 minutes or 8 minutes. I have been doing that. But yes, I have a way to look at things, and I like to express myself in my original way. So therefore, I think I'm happier calling myself as a storyteller than a filmmaker, because filmmaker has this arrogance. I'm a filmmaker, but storyteller is a simple guy. So I like to remain like a simple person and tell stories. And I really enjoy telling stories about Bharat.
And when you talk about stories, do you think that India, that is Bharat, or Bharat, that is what people are trying to make it to India, have a lot of stories yet to be told, or do we need to look outside our boundaries for inspirations in airports?
One is your original name, and second is an adopted name. Like a lot of people from India, suppose your name is Krishna, and they go to USA. After some time, some people start calling them Krish. Right? But that's an adopted name. That's not the real name.
Yeah.
Okay. Similarly, Bharat is a real name. Bharat is our original name. Yeah. India is an adopted name made for the convenience of people who can't pronounce it. Right. And I don't think there should be any debate. Bharat is our original name. India is an adopted name for the foreigners. Yeah. So in India, everybody calls themselves Bharat. If you go to villages, if you go to farms, if you talk to truck drivers, if you talk to teachers, principals, common people on the street, they call it Bharat. Majority of Indians call it Bharat. Okay,
Yeah.
since we are talking in English, we are calling it India, but most of the times we are also addressing it as Bharat.
Yeah. Yes.
So in my mind, there is no doubt. And also, if you remember, Manoj Kumar ji, on all his films, his name used to be Bharat. Nobody questioned. Nobody ever questioned. Nobody said why it's Bharat and not India.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. And coming to my next question, do we have a lot of stories in Bharat that is waiting to be told, or do we need to look towards Hollywood or other languages for in air quotes inspirations?
Okay. My next story, the Delhi Files, is about Bharat. And it also will discuss all these things you are talking, India versus Bharat and all those kind of questions. And after that, I am making an epic tale of Dharma. And no story can be bigger than that about Bharat.
Fantastic. And that is going to be a single film trilogy. How are you planning it out? To build up my excitement.
It will be a trilogy. It will be a trilogy part. Because that story you can't contain it. I'm not telling you the name. I'm just saying epic tale of Dharma. You'll understand. But you can't contain it in one film. You have to have more than one film.
Yeah. And if you are given an option, you can pick one story from Bharat. The time period doesn't matter. Which was written anytime. Which will you pick? Which one will you pick? One story.
See, I definitely want to one story which has not been told properly and must be told to people so they understand where the problem, the fundamental, where the roots of the problem are. I think one story on Mopla riot should be made, and I've been working for very long on that. But I'm committed to make the Delhi Files first, and after that, if the God gives me blessings, I will be able to go there.
Yeah, and we are talking about options. So one thing, you're again given one option. You can change one thing in the post-independent India. What will it
I
be?
would say the way judiciary functions. If you correct the judiciary, 90% of Indian problems will be solved.
Okay, all right, great. And Vivek Ranjan Agnihotri. Again, we are talking about the roots, Bharat and India. Vivek Agnihotri became Vivek Ranjan Agnihotri. You are taking a reverse direction from the others, which obviously reflects in your film also. And what is the difference between Vivek Ranjan Agnihotri Vivek Agnihotri in 2009 or 2000 and Vivek Ranjan Agnihotri in 2023? Personally, what do you feel? I can see a lot of differences from an outsider's point of view. Personally, what is the difference that you feel?
I was on the left. Now I'm doing the right things. That's all I can say.
Yeah. And what about your state of mind? Are you still that aggressive fighter?
I have seen a very visible shift in my own life, moving from very hyper materialistic competitive life to very spiritual life. Second thing is I am more detached from things now. Earlier I was attached. Now I'm not attached to anything. And third thing is from that Vivek to this Vivek. Now I've cut down my needs to such an extent that I don't fear losing anything.
Yeah. And again, this is actually a part of the question that I asked earlier, second part of the question that I asked earlier. The media personalities, the fact checkers, and the so-called elites. Do you think that they really get angry when their narratives fall apart? Angry in the sense like, why don't you peasants listen to us and stop asking questions and consume what we give you? Is that a state of mind that exists in their circles? I have felt that.
These are employed people. Okay, they are employed by the enemies of India. They don't have any mind of their own. They are working under a strategy. And the strategy is always to spread negativity, keep the society confused and in doubt, lack of confidence. And when people like me or any dharmic warrior, when we come and puncture their narrative, then they get rattled and they go after you. You know, their whole thing is they can't accept a positive narrative. They want India to be a loser. Okay, but why anybody would do that? I don't think any person who's not crazy would do that. Even crazy people won't do that. It is done only for money, money, money.
And again, coming back to vaccine war, the real story of the vaccine. But do you think that indigenous vaccine, Bharat's indigenous vaccine, is one of the greatest achievements of our country post-independence? Do you think that? And if so, why?
I believe, I'm not saying this is the only, but one of the most significant scientific achievements. And I'm not saying that. Recently, a G20 was held in India, and they said out of three biggest achievements, one was making the indigenous vaccine. I was in America recently. The whole world acknowledges that India's making of the vaccine was one of the greatest achievements of India.
Yeah, and little bit it's a loaded political question. I recently in one interview of yours, I heard that you were in Harvard and you came back to India after hearing one speech from Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. From that time period, that Naya India, Naya Bharat Banayenge, that speech inspired you to come back to India. From that time period to now, this moment, what do you see? What changes do you see in the political leadership of Bharat?
There is definitely a visible change. When Rajiv Gandhi was Prime Minister, I had lots of hopes and optimism that India will change, but it didn't happen. They got involved in only corruption and nothing else. Then I thought VP Singh will change India. That didn't happen. Then I thought other leaders would change. Didn't happen. Then I was very hopeful with Manmohan Singh ji. I said he's such an educated person. Maybe he will change the shape of India. But then he said all the resources should go to the minorities of India. Then I said he's also playing appeasement politics, and then a lot of corruption and scams happened. But for the first time, I am feeling that India is actually changing. Wherever I look, you see we are developing. At the same time, the youth of India and Indians have found a new confidence. And that is why you see the White House in America opened the gates for 10,000 Indians for the first time in the history. And which is not a simple achievement. It's a great achievement. Okay, the world is looking up to India. India is the most powerful emerging force in the world. And I think this is a golden time for India. And we should inspire people, speak about positivity and hopefulness and how to move ahead rather than looking at the negativity spread by urban naxals. We should just ignore them now. It's time for self-belief and self-growth.
Yeah. So the vaccine one, from the characters of that, I'll give you 5 names. Describe them in one word, or as many words as you want. Nana Patel.
Absolutely the best actor of India.
Pallavi Joshi.
Multi-dimensional. Every time she surprises me with her performance.
Oh, fantastic. And the Dr. Balram Bhargav, the real life Dr. Balram.
Very soft, but don't get mistaken by that. Inside, he's a very hard taskmaster who made the vaccine project successful.
All right. Fact checkers.
Moles employed by the enemies of India.
All right. And lastly, the news media of India, particularly news media of India.
See, if I just say news media, it involves everybody. I don't want to make that mistake. But I would say the so-called eminent media is now become a mole and working as an agency for India's enemies. Right. And there is no journalism left in media anymore. Media has killed journalism.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. And the final question is, it's actually not a question. Your statement for us Keralites, or what are your thoughts for us Keralites regarding the movie, The Vaccine? Or you have expressed it quite eloquently, but as a concluding message for us, the audience.
Okay, Kerala has the best medical infrastructure in India. It's because of Keralites. Okay. So many people from Kerala work in our scientific institutions. That itself is a proof that Keralites have a great scientific temperament. You know, and my Guru, Adi Guru Shankaracharya also came from Kerala, you know.
Right.
Keralites are wonderful people. Kerala is one of the best states of India. It's God's own country. Let it remain God's own country. Don't let it become Karl Marx's country. Don't let it become a corrupt country. Please believe in yourself and believe in the philosophy of Adi Shankaracharya that we are all one. It's all inclusive. And I think Keralites have done great service to India's education, India's science, and India's intellectual power. Don't let urban naxals destroy you. All they want is to destroy you.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Vivek, sir. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule. All right. Thank you so much. And convey my special regard as a Keralite to Pallavi Joshi ji for representing as Priya Abraham, Dr. Priya Abraham.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.
So thank you so much. See you again. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, sir.